Hi, I'm Rick Anthony, and welcome to the Someone You Should Know podcast, the podcast that focuses on musicians, authors, and interesting people. We like to say we're making a difference one artist at a time. So sit back, have a cold one, and get ready to meet someone you should know. Today on the Someone You Should Know podcast, we're heading up to Michigan and diving into the heart of country music with a band that has been making waves both on stage and in the studio. And they're no stranger to the big stage because they have opened for big names like Zac Brown Band and Rodney, Atkins, to name but a few. Their most recent album is called Long Haul, and we're going to be showcasing several songs from it. The band is Stolen Horses, and joining me from the band, David Lyle, Sean Kittredge, Joe Afton, and Paul Bass, or bass if he's playing guitar, bass if he's fishing. Isn't that right, Paul?
You got it right.
That's it.
That's true. My family can't figure it out, and you get it in one day.
Well, that's just it. As far as Paul's part of the Witness Protection Agency, as far as guys, let's talk humble beginnings. How did each one of you follow that path down the road to country music and end up in Stolen Horses? Sean, why don't you lead the way?
So I've been playing drums basically all my life. Taught myself listening to the Beatles album way back when, and played in some rock bands, cover rock bands in the area, and actually did about a 5-year stint with a polka band that was we played all over. I mean, New York, Pennsylvania. I mean, you name it. That was a lot of fun. Then I got an invite to a buddy of mine was playing bass for David in Stolen Horses, and they needed a drummer, and I went to did a tryout for him, and the rest is history. 15 years. So we just talked about this. It's a long time for band members to have a band together. Really
awesome. That's great, Sean. Now, my dad would have absolutely loved you because for the years and years that I was on the radio, I would send tapes to my parents so they can hear what their little boy sounds like on the radio and such. And my dad says, I really love what you're doing, but you're not playing enough polkas. So,
well, I'll tell you what.
I'll say that's one thing a lot of country bands up in Michigan don't have is drummers who can do polka and shuffle and train beats and all that.
Oh, yeah,
and,
absolutely.
Shawnee, he got the goods.
Yeah, absolutely. Paul, whether you want to be bass or bass, I'll let you go next. How did you learn to play the bass and join the band?
Well, they say you don't find music, music finds you. Mm-hmm. Well, I guess in my case, it might still be out looking, but
not a chance.
They didn't know that when they first found me on the different end of the trans thing. And they're like, what? I said, yeah, I can transpose into any key. So they're like, okay, well, this guy's all right. Play in any key. So, and then from there on out, it turned out I had a pretty good beer allowance. I'm like, well, I might stick around. It's gonna work for me.
Oh, he's the class clown of the band, huh? Okay, how about Joe? Joe, why don't you tell us about how you became a musician and how you became a member of Stolen Horses?
Well, I've been playing for since I was 7, and my mother and dad played music live professionally, and that's how I got into it. And I ran into DJ probably 30 years ago, and I played with him back then.
First one was that contest downtown Grand Rapids.
Yeah, maybe that was. Okay, yeah.
Oh, very good. And
how was Randy Foster?
Yeah. So I've known DJ for probably 30, 40 years. Probably 30 years anyway.
And you still like him, too, so that's pretty good. Either that or like I say, either that he's paying you well.
Yeah, that helps.
All right, DJ. And, okay, good.
Called me up one time, and I was the band I was in. We was kind of like of a lull. Mm-hmm. We weren't playing a whole lot, and he called me up and said, "Hey, you want to try out?" So he kind of knew what I played like anyway. Mm-hmm. So, and just went on from there for the last 15 years, like Sean.
All right, very good. DJ, how about you?
Yeah, real quick though, with Joe, he was way too good to be playing the little bars, so I had to beg him to get on the big stage. because he was happy just playing. It didn't matter. But for me, my dad, same. He played guitar and sang around the campfire and all that, which inspired me. Mom and dad were both into country, like Waylon and Merle, Willie, Johnny Cash, Don Williams, all them guys. And so dad turned me on to it at first. And then, so our first project with Stolen Horses was me and my cousins back in high school. So problem was, it was slow go, because every time we had announced at school we were going to have a practice, it kind of turned into a keg party down in the basement. We didn't get a whole lot done. That's where it started.
Yeah. Well, awesome. I love stories like that, guys. Thanks for sharing yours. Now, we're going to showcase some new music from your album called Long Haul, but let's back up one album. Stick in the Mud was a 2-year process with recordings in both Nashville and Oklahoma. Can you take us through the process and how that all came together for your albums?
That was a learning curve. I have a producer in Nashville, Gary Satker from Red Ridge, that I had met. I'd lived there for 2 years, lived right next door to Mel McDaniel, and kind of learning the business. And so starting that album, we started off using studio musicians, because that's how Nashville had to have it.
Yeah,
it wouldn't allow. And so, and then out in Oklahoma, so some of the songs were done in Nashville, some were in Oklahoma, because out there was a label that was going to expose us to the video channels and all that.
Right, yeah.
And long story short, that label ended up folded. They got caught for embezzlement and they went under. And yeah. So that took an ugly turn there. So,
you're lucky you weren't involved with that.
Yeah. No, not at all.
Yeah, very good. Very
not
good.
At all.
How does this album compare to the last one?
The last one was more personal because these guys are on it. You know, a song written by Joe is on it. A song written by Paul Bass is on it. A couple songs that I wrote is on it. So it's more personal. And I wanted nothing more to get these guys on the album.
Awesome, very good. Now, the first track we're going to showcase is a happy tune. And since we've had a very, very cold winter, it's kind of very, very welcome. My Summer Song. What's the backstory on My Summer Song?
That was written by a guy up in Canada, and it was a song I picked because I used to run up and down the California coast, and the lyrics were all about the California coast. And so it was very fitting. And so that wasn't one we wrote, but the one that hit home for me that I could relate to.
Awesome, very good. Now, the video that accompanies it, by the way, we'll include that down in the show notes, was shot in Sturgis. Was that during Pike Week, or what was that?
That's a weird twist. What happened is we went out there with a camera crew. They sponsored us to do the show out in Sturgis. Aria Show Technologies, and we went out there with the camera crew with the idea of shooting the video for Hard Headed. And everything just took turns. I don't know, it just went down a whole different path with the video shoot and everything else, and the scenery was more fitting for My Summer Song.
I think so too. Yes, I really agree with you. But it had to be a lot of fun doing that.
It was a blast. Yeah, I think we had the most fun out there. And we were with David Allen Co.
Oh wow!
And so their band was a lot of fun. Their bass player had to borrow Paul's rig the first day.
It's tough, man.
Yeah, awesome, very good. Well, let's feature that song right now. The video, once again, is going to be down in the show notes. So I invite everybody to check that out. Just click on it, and it'll play for you. Here's My Summer Song from Stolen Horses right now on the Someone You Should Know podcast.
Rolling down the coast all the way to Monterey, cranking up a countdown on a blue, hot, sunny day, singing all the words to these July my songs. You're holding my hand and I can't stop smiling. California dreaming on for miles. Feels like we're walking the sunshine where we belong. You're my summer song, singing along to your beautiful melody. Sundress killing me, girl. You turn it up, you're turning me on. Like a hit on the radio, just won't let me go. Playing all day long. You're my summer song. You're my summer song. The sun sets close, I get so dizzy. The lights from the pier blinking bright for you and me. Waves crashing out, it's your voice, it's all I hear. You're my summer song, singing along to your beautiful melody. Sundress killing me, girl. Turn it up, you're turning me on. Like a hit on the radio, just won't let me go. Playing all day long. You're my summer song. One more spin, you're playing again and again. You're my summer song, singing along to your beautiful melody. Sundress killing me, girl. You turn it up, you're turning me on. Like a hit on the radio, just won't let me go. Playing all day long. You're my summer song. You're my summer song. Baby, you're my summer song. You're my summer song. Baby, you're my summer song.
Great tune right there. Stolen Horses is the name of the band. That is my summer song. And joining from the band are Dean and Sean and Paul and Joe, and we got more great music coming up from their album Long Haul in just a few seconds. But first, I want to say thanks so much for tuning into the Someone You Should Know podcast. Thanks to our good friends at Buzzsprout also. They share us to all the streaming platforms. So very happy to reach over 2,800 cities. Over 2,800 cities. I'm still floored by that. In 106 countries around the world. I want to salute a couple new ones. Brooklyn, New York, Kansas City, Kansas, Peterborough, Ontario, Canada. And Jennifer and the members of the student faculty at Purdue University in Lafayette, Indiana. Thank you very much for the kind note, too, Jennifer. Very kind of you that says everyone is over listening. That Someone You Should Know podcast heard wherever quality streaming audio is available. Like I say, we are talking to the members of Stolen Horses, David Lyle, Sean Kittredge, Joe Afton, Paul Bass, Members of the Stolen Horses.
You're not ever going to forget that, are you?
I don't know. The thing is, I'm gonna go bass fishing. No, I'm gonna go bass fishing. It depends. Are you gonna go to a music store? He's a bass master.
There is a lake called Bass Lake up in Michigan by us.
There's a Bass Lake over by us too in LaPorte. So it's I totally get you. So Paul, we love you, buddy, with the two last names there. David, you've been at this a long time. You wound up winning open mic nights back in the 90s and playing to thousands of people. What keeps you so passionate while still doing your day job? How do you manage to do all these things?
The love for it. That's what drives us. Mm-hmm. I would literally do it around the clock if I could, because the love for it, and really it's the magic of these three band members that keep up the love for this music. Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Very good. What's the writing process like in the band? You mentioned that Paul had something and Joe had something in this last album. I guess everybody's just kind of a democracy as far as that goes. How does it all work?
Well, we haven't really sat down together. Paul had his ideas and put his together and brought it to the table for the band, and we loved it right away. Now he's had other
checks in the mail.
Other songs he wanted to bring to the table, like I Lost My Rubber in South Dakota, but we haven't pursued that one. That's true story. 3 tires on the way to Sturgis.
Oh, jeez.
A lot of downtime.
Wait, listen, guys, I've heard a lot of weird things on the radio. I think I'd probably fit today. You know something? You just put a twist on it and make a great country tune.
Yeah.
Out there.
Next song we're going to feature is the title cut from your album called Long Haul. And David, you being a long haul trucker, I'm sure that had some kind of play into the song.
It did. Long haul and trucks, which is the album cover. Blue truck, just like mine. Also, of course, the benefit of having that true relationship that when you're both in it for the long haul, and that's where I'm at in a relationship right now. Someone that I really believe we're in it for the long haul. So that's another song written by our Canadian friends that just hit home for me for multiple reasons. And that's the reason I wanted to cut that.
Awesome. Very good. Well,
and I presented it to all the band members, and they loved it.
Awesome. So, all right. We're going to feature this. This is the title cut from Long Haul right here on the Someone You Should Know podcast with our guest, Stolen Horses.
Took a lot of wrong turns living my life. Always in a hurry, I was running late. Took a few shortcuts trying to save time. Getting off track, losing my way. You light me up like a set of headlights, pointing me straight through a cold dark night. Yeah, you're right where I need to be, baby. Now you got me rolling down the better road. 'Cause I've got you sitting by my side. Shotgun, band seat, sundress, blue sky. So fire up the highway song. We'll get a little blacktop gone. We could go wherever you want, baby, it's your call. I'm in it for the long haul. Sure to be a few bumps along the way. Baby, I know we got what it takes. You're my Jesus on the dash. Get me through the rough patch. Sunset saving grace. 'Cause I've got you sitting by my side. Shotgun, band seat, sundress, blue sky. So fire up the highway song. We'll get a little blacktop gone. Now we can go wherever you want, baby, it's your call. I'm in it for the long haul. So fire up a highway song. We'll get a little blacktop gone. We can go wherever you want, baby, it's your call. 'Cause I got you sitting by my side. Shotgun, band seat, sundress, blue sky. So fire up the highway song. We'll get a little blacktop gone. Now we can go wherever you want, baby, it's your call. I'm in it for the long haul.
That's the band Stolen Horses, the title track from their album from 2024 called The Long Haul. Songs like Long Haul have got some great road stories. Guy, I'm going to open the floor to you, each and one of you, to answer these questions here. As far as you shared the stage with some great country acts, Zach Brown, Justin Moore, and also Rodney Atkins, just to name a few. Let's go with each of the band members. Sean, what's your favorite moment so far of being a member of this band? Something that really kind of stands out going, wow, this was a lot of fun.
We opened up in Traverse City. We opened up for Tyler Farr.
Okay.
And that was a lot of fun. There wasn't a whole lot of people, but man, DJ knows where this is going. So we videotaped up there. We were gonna videotape, and we go up on stage, or we go to get on stage, and Joe and I are in the backstage. We're getting dressed, and DJ came in and said, He goes, anybody got a pair of long pants, long pair of jeans? And Joe and I were looking at each other going, what's going on? He forgot his jeans at home. He had to wear shorts. I mean, it was a great gig. But that's just funny.
That's funny.
It's something that I remember. I know DJ, he laughs about it. But at the time, it was like, Joe and I were looking at each other going, no. It's just, there's no way. So.
I had heard a similar story with one of the local bands around here. They were playing at the Indianapolis State Fair, and they got there, and as they were setting up, he split his pants. And he said, well, I could duct tape them together and look kind of weird, but they decided to go to a local mall. The show wasn't on for another 2 hours, but it took them almost the full 2 hours to get to the mall and then get back on the grounds. And so luckily they made it with just moments to spare. So that was kind of interesting. Paul, how about you? What would you say has been one of your most memorable moments so far?
I think it was B93 one year, and standing backstage. Blake Shelton gets off his bus with a football. He's all hung over. He's like, man, I got to sweat this out. You want to play some catch with me? And I was kind of busy setting up at the time. I said, don't you got someone? Don't you got a guy for that? Then he walked off, whatever. Turns out they liked the moonshine, and he wanted to sweat it out before he went back on.
Good Lord. I love those moments. How about you, Joe?
Probably last weekend was my best time.
Oh, really?
When we played. I can't remember exactly. We had Iris come up.
Iris Herrera.
Herrera came up, and I've been following her now. She's on
The Voice.
Oh, really? Wonderful.
Yeah. She got 3 chairs to turn. She came up and sang, and that was pretty fun.
Joe, where was this at?
At the Driftwood. Croton.
Very good. Very good.
Yeah, it was a Dam project.
Ice fishing tournament.
Awesome. All right, DJ, what about you? What would be your most memorable moment on stage there with the big guys?
Sean, you have to help me who we opened for. It was down in Mendon at Cowboy Up, outdoor festival. National artist was there. Josh Grayson. We were in the middle of a song. I thought it'd be fun to be bouncing up on his drum riser.
Oh, no.
So as I come down and land on the stage, I actually went through the stage, one leg down and one leg up during the song. Still trying to play and get up back on my own 2 feet.
Oh, jeez.
Without stopping.
Okay.
So that was painful, but I couldn't let it go.
Well, I don't know how you could top these. The next thing I've got is the Tales from the Road, those infamous road stories where things doesn't go. I think you guys have pretty much told me quite a few. I'll leave that floor to you guys also as far as the way things, when things don't go quite as planned, kind of think of the movie Spinal Tap. You've already told me a couple of them. Any more you want to share, guys?
Just my favorite one real quick was with Hunter Hayes. We were packing up before he went on, and the stage crew had already taken our equipment back to the trailer. We were parked in front of his bus. I didn't realize it, so I grabbed what I thought was my guitar and walked in front of his bus and went to put it in the back of our trailer. Hunter Hayes come flying out of that bus. He said, "Hey, that's my guitar." And right at that moment, we opened our doors, and I saw mine was already in the trailer.
Oh, jeez. Oh, no.
He was so nice about it.
Oh,
we got our pictures with him and laughed it off.
Awesome.
Yeah, he was great. Great sport.
Yeah, that could have been a bit of bad scene, very bad scene. But with the process of touring and opening for big acts, what are some of the things that you've learned from the big acts that has become part of your mantra now?
A lot of country artists are down to earth. Like Randy Houser was one of my favorite. Zach Brown was super nice to us. Meeting the artists that are really pleasant to be around was a lot of fun.
Was Zach grilling up backstage? Because I know he does his barbecue.
He wasn't grilling at that time. That was before he was huge, when the first song Chicken Fried, his first song came out. So that was in the beginning before he hit the stadiums.
He was talking about the idea of maybe getting a spice rub or something like that. I know he was talking about it.
Sure.
But because he does a mean barbecue. He does a good brisket. Yeah. So
he's super nice. I
mean,
yeah.
Totally.
His status to be just so cordial with everybody.
Oh yeah. And that's one thing I definitely say about musicians. When you get past the publicists are always the snarly dog, and then you get to the actual artists, and they just are so wonderful and warm, and just they like to sit down, have a beer with you, and talk about some great stories. That's what the whole antithesis of this whole Tales from the Road came from, as far as just sitting down, having a couple bottles of beer and talking about some of the things that you survived. And if you could survive that, you could survive just about anything. Guys, let's talk about social media. Let's talk about where we can find you. As far as everyone listening, I know they want to stay in tune to what you got going on this summer. What would be the best way to reach you as far as your website, socials? Who knows that?
Yeah, the website is stolenhorsesmusic.com.
Okay.
The Facebook page is Stolen Horses Music. They can find us.
Okay. And what we'll do is we'll include those down in the show notes, so anyone just wants to follow and click along. What can we expect for 2025, guys? Where are you guys going to be touring?
A lot of rodeos. We're doing the Balloon Fest again in Wayland. We do a Ride for a Cure at a horse equestrian ranch, raising money for cancer benefit. But the rodeos are a lot of fun. Houston's Cow Camp was a sanctioned rodeo that we do all weekend long. And there's other rodeos that we're doing as well.
I want to answer that question you had earlier about what do you learn opening for some of the bigger shows. And one thing about playing with these guys and playing with any great band and playing with any band is they all listen to each other real well. And no matter how big or small the stage is, it doesn't change your performance. You still give everything you have, and you still set up where you're comfortable. And that's really what makes it, like, when you get on a big stage, you don't even think about it because you've been doing it all your life. It's like another day at the office.
Right. Yeah.
Sure.
That's what I've learned. I've learned that playing with guys like this is great because you don't have to do the same thing every night. You just have to listen to each other.
Awesome. Very good.
I want to, if I can, I would add something on to Paul. What he just said, that the thing that makes this band, it's a great group of guys, but everybody in this band's humble.
That's good. Yeah.
And I mean, nobody acts like they're better than the next guy, and we're always gracious. And I remember a long time ago we played up in Muskegon at Moose Fest. WMUS used to have Moose Fest at downtown Muskegon, and we opened up a couple times there. And one of the times we opened up, we actually we went down and we actually went down to a meet and greet type thing. And that blew my mind because I was not used to that. And it was people were just coming up and we're signing backs. And I mean, anything that everybody had, and I walked away from that. It was great. It's not something that I was used to, but.
All right. Final song we're going to showcase is Fish. Who wants to tell me about Fish?
This was a song we picked up.
What was that? Deb says that's a favorite song on the album. Is that right, Deb?
It's one of them, yes.
One of them. Okay, very good.
I love the song more now because my mother could not figure out. She asked me very seriously. She says, I'm trying to figure out the lyrics in this song. Hoochie coochie. She says, what is a hoochie coochie?
Jeez.
So Paul had to tell her, you tell her, Paul, what you told my mom, what hoochie coochie up in Wisconsin.
Oh, is it town in Wisconsin, I told her?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Well, I've been there.
I had to teach Mom to wiggle her butt that's all about the hoochie coochie.
Awesome, yeah. I'm your hoochie coochie man. Here you go. Very good. The song is called Fish. We're going to wrap the show up with that from their album called... Exactly, that's what I said. Long Haul is the name of the album. And guys, I want to say thanks so much for being on the podcast. We have Paul Bass, we have Sean, we have Joe, we have DJ, guys, and Deb also. Hi, and Joe's wife's listening in too, also there. Hi there. Hello there, darling. How you doing? Thanks so very much for being on the podcast tonight. I hope you had fun doing this, and I hope this helps sell a couple. Gets a couple more spins for you, and gets a little more exposure for you guys and gals.
Thank you, Rick. You're a whole lot of fun. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Welcome, Rick.
Life can be hard to figure out. It's kind of squirrely from time to time, no doubt. When you hit that rock, you just gotta roll. Just a little thought, a little food for the soul. When you're in the river, fish. When you're in the desert, drink. When you're in the deep south, eat grits. No matter what you find, when you're in the woods, hunt. When you're on a fourth down, punt. When you're in the delta, sing the blues. When you're in the hoochie, hoochie coo. It all boils down to this. When you're in the river, fish. Girls, or leave it crying in your beer and drowning in that river. Oh, where do I go from here? When you hit that rock, you just gotta roll. There's something better in the water, don't you know? When you're in the river, fish. When you're in the honky-tonk, drink. When you're on the front porch, pick. No matter what you find, when you're in the good book, read. When you're in the fast car, speed. When you're in the Memphis barbecue. When you're in the hoochie hoochie coo. It all boils down to this. When you're in the river, fish. When you're in the river, fish. When you're in the desert, drink. When you're in the deep south, eat grits. No matter what you find, when you're in the woods, hunt. When you're on a fourth down, punt. When you're in the delta, sing the blues. When you're in the hoochie hoochie coo. It all boils down to this. When you're in the river, fish. Yeah, it all boils down to this. When you're in the river, fish.
Hi, this is Rick Anthony, thanking you again for listening to this episode of Someone You Should Know. Now, if you're an aspiring musician or an established musician that's looking for a little exposure, I invite you to drop us a line at someoneyoushouldknowpodcast@gmail.com. That's someoneyoushouldknowpodcast@gmail.com. Also, I invite you to tell a friend about the Someone You Should Know podcast. I thank you for tuning in this time, and I invite you to check us out next time on the Someone You Should Know podcast, because you never know who's going to show up. Until next time, remember, God loves you, and so do I.